Hey, so we all want to be successful, we all want to do well with whatever it is that we're passionate about or that we're good at. But there is a drawback with becoming too good at something, and I think this is what stops a lot of people from actually being successful. And if you've been in my shoes before, you've probably had that too. Not just with business, but with anything else. If you get really good at something, if you make a lot of money, if you become an expert at something, people start resenting you in a way. People start feeling that you're not on the same wavelength as them. And they're actually not wrong, because I've had this problem too myself. So what I've found is that the better I get at something, the more disconnected I get with that thing at a much more basic level. Let me give you an example. So I've been doing marketing online for more than 4 years now, coming up to 5 actually. And the more I've done it, the better I've gotten at it in terms of getting results, systemizing the business and everything around that. But the challenge is that over time, the problem that I faced, and I'll give you a solution later by the way, the problem that I faced was that I lost touch with our core market. Because my closest group, my bubble, as we call it, was all people doing 6-7 figures a year. The problem was that I lost touch with people who weren't making that kind of money anymore. So this is a problem, because if you want to continue to service your market for a long time, if you want to continue selling your products, selling your services, then you always want to understand about your target market. You shouldn't forget about them, right? So we had this problem for quite some time. And there are two ways of fixing that. The first way that we have been doing for quite some time now is supporting our customers on a more one-on-one basis. So what I do quite often these days is every week I do a couple of interviews, a couple of onboarding sessions with new customers that join Kyvio. And that's just to understand why they bought the product. That's to understand how they intend to use it, or what are the biggest struggles, what are the biggest problems. And of course I could send out a survey and get answers to those questions. But a survey is never usually subjective. Even when it is, people don't give the most important answer, on the thing that is really bothering them. So what I try to do is I try and do interviews, and I would recommend you do the same thing. When you sell something, once in a while, talk to your customers. Talk to them, why did they buy? Why didn't they buy? Why didn't they buy sooner? Or what are they going to do next? And that will give you a lot of ideas to stay in touch with your customers, basically. And again, like I said, we struggled with that for quite some time, and we have been able to change that by actively putting an effort into reaching out to our customers. So that's the first thing you need to do. Second thing is understanding the concept of states. So 4 years ago, 5 years ago, I was at a stage where I had to make money because I had lost my job. I got fired, and that's the only way I could survive. And that was a pretty bad place to be. But while I remember that, what happened to me back then, I don't think about it every day anymore, because my everyday problems, everyday accomplishments matter more right now. So right now my state is more of a successful 7-figure business owner who has basically solved those issues, and my next goal is 8 figures in a year. And while I'm working towards that, I'm not thinking too much about my audience who are still back at 6 figures level or below 6 figures a year level. So that's a problem, because I'm not really thinking about those states anymore. So what I would recommend to you as well, if you find yourself feeling a little bit disconnected with your audience, write down all the states that you have been in the past. And always remember that your audience is in the same state as well. Always remember that there's someone in your audience who got fired from their job. There's someone in your audience who had an eating problem, and because of that they're obese and they want to lose weight. There's someone in your audience who is not able to meet women, or is not able to meet men. And you want to be able to service them without being condescending. So talk to them, and remember, write it down on your whiteboard, that your audience, just like you, will go through certain stages of life, and you want to understand what those stages are to be able to service them better. That is the only way to keep in touch with reality, because as you grow, it will become more difficult to remember, to understand exactly why it is that you did this in the first place. And that's why your audience wants to do it as well. So I hope this has been helpful. Comment below in the video, tell me what you think about it. Did you like this advice? Have you gone through the same process before? Did you ever feel disconnected with your audience in past as well? This is Neil Napier, and also subscribe to our YouTube channel by clicking on one of the buttons on this video. Bye.